Hey folks, Austin Whitehead here again, and I'm about to leave Spain from this visit and go back to California, and then I'll be back and apply for all my stuff in a couple of months. But I wanted to take a time to kind of put together a series on AI, artificial intelligence, and how I use it to help my experience here and which one is good for what, and hopefully you will find this helpful. So right now everyone's aware of ChatGPT and GPT, which are generative pre-trained transformers, and what that basically means is that it speaks your language. It's understandable in common vernacular, regardless of whether it's English or Spanish or French or Catalonian or whatever the case, whatever language that they support. Now, there's another one that's really, really popular, and you're going to hear a lot more about it, and it's the reason why so many jobs are being lost, and that's agentic or autonomous agents. And these are the things that's going to help with decision support. It's like an old expert system. It'll help. It'll take data from external data as well, and best practices, and it will help put together decisions for companies. And this is why a lot of people. We're using it now for testing of their software and those types of things. And this is where a lot of the educated or highly skilled educated jobs that were prevalent and abundant before are going away. Now, when we think about AI, there are several popular ones. There's ChatGPT, there's Perplexity, there's Grok, and there's Gemini. Grok is the Elon Musk one, and it primarily pulls its data from Twitter and X data. Gemini, which is the one from Google, pulls most of its information from Google searches and Google data that it pulls in. Now, Perplexity is an interesting one because it pulls its data from current and live websites. And this is important to know because if you're looking for some historical things that may have been taken down, it may not be in Perplexity. And then you have ChatGPT. And ChatGPT does a lot of historical stuff. It has a whole bunch of data. It pulls from a lot of different places, but it's not necessarily current. So right now, version ChatGPT 5, it's current with information up to mid-2024. So if you're looking for something now that's going on, like for example, I was looking for metro stops and metro stations, and there's some construction going on here in Barcelona, so some stations are being missed, and ChatGPT totally doesn't know that. So I took some wrong trains. Let's just put it that way. But again, it's only current up to 2024, right, or mid-2024 right now. So it's probably not one you want if you want current information. The other thing that I did was I was looking for places to get my hair cut, and most of them were closed. That they listed on ChatGPT because again, it's not current. So those are the four ones. I use ChatGPT and Perplexity for my work. Those are the ones I really enjoy and like working with. But what are they good for? So for example, writing tone, humor. I like to a lot of times put snarky comments on social media. I'm kind of bitchy that way. And ChatGPT does that. Whereas if I went to Perplexity and say, write me a snarky response to this, ChatGPT comes back and says, well, that's not really polite and I'm not going to do that for you. So again, do different things. But if you want fact checking and citations and those types of things, Perplexity is the one to go to. Like I will go into it and say, hey, find me a recent study about how AI is impacting the healthcare industry. And it will have those different studies if they're publicly available and published. Now, for social media trends and tech culture stuff, Grok is the one. Again, it pulls that information from Twitter and X, and it's full of crap, quite honestly. But it is interesting because, again, it takes all these unverified positions and informations and people's, I don't want to say opinions, their point of views, because opinions need to be based on facts, but their point of views, and puts it in there. And then, of course, Gemini, which is if you want for live events or things that are currently happening, Gemini or Perplexity are the ones to do. And then if you want analysis, ChatGPT is probably the best, but always check the numbers. None of these are good with numbers. So just so you know, always check the math because the math is not good. Now, a couple of other things that I use this for, not just about finding locations and things to do, but I look to see what kind of trends and things that are going on in the local areas. But the other thing too is I hate wasting money. And so when I am now just about to leave, I have some ingredients here that I bought, some onions, some soups, things like that. And I'm like, okay, what can I make with this so that I don't waste food? And it will come up with recipes for me. Now, this is something you can still do and implement right now in your lives at home so that you can start not wasting food, especially right now with the way grocery prices are going up in the United States. So just put in a list of stuff you have there. I do it into ChatGPT and say, okay, what can I make on this? And it'll come back and I'll say, give me 3 options, or I feel like Mediterranean today, or I feel like Asian food, and tell me what I can make with this. And what I've also done in ChatGPT is I've just said I have a library that I've created that has all of my just standard ingredients, and I will tell it, hey, use my library standard ingredients and see what you can make with these additional things that are about to go bad. The other thing too is I have in ChatGPT, I've uploaded a very specific format when I tell it to download into a Word document using my standard format, because I like certain spacing, I like certain fonts and those types of things, so it'll do that into that. And then the last thing I do with Chat is I tell it how to interact with me. So I've gone to Chat and said, hey Chat, I don't really like your blunt response here. Can you always come back and say, hey Austin, that was a great idea, or maybe Austin, you're not right here, but here's some suggestions. And it'll come back with suggestions of things that may be different, or point out where I'm wrong, or if I had a great idea. So those are some of the things that I appreciate around Chat, because it allows me to create this personality that I can interact with. Anyway, again, just an overview of AI right now. And as we start to learn to use more of it and how we're going to use this in this transition, I'll be posting additional things. But I hope you find this helpful. And again, think outside the box. AI is here to stay. It's not going away. So how do you make AI your friend to save money, make you more efficient, and make your experience with life just, so much better? Anyway, hope this is helpful. Thanks. Bye.